Welcome to the Western Cape Teachers Forum, family, a platform where we educate, empower, and excel. Now, the Western Cape Education Department has recently rolled out its vaccination program for its educators. And tonight we are speaking to the first two recipients of the vaccinations. The first teacher is a teacher from Masipatisani Primary School in Vredenburg. She's been teaching there for 6 years. She's also the 2019 recipient of the Excellence in Primary School Teaching Award in the National Teaching Awards. And she is Eugenia Paulo-Goagoses. Eugenia, good evening to you.
Good evening, Lee. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for joining. And the second lady on the couch tonight is an English teacher from Heideveld High School. And she's an English teacher. She's been there for the last, I think, 10 years. And coincidentally, she's also a recipient of the Excellence in ICT Enhanced Teaching Award for the National Teaching Award in 2019. And she's also a content developer. She's a course facilitator at the CHLI. And it's none other than Ms. Riefqah Sasman. Riefqah, let's start with you. Tell us in 60 seconds to tell the followers and the friends of the page, who is Riefqah Sasman?
Good evening, Lee. Good evening, everybody. So as you heard, I am a high school English teacher and an ICT facilitator for CTLI and WCD. I'm also a cyber ambassador for WCD, and I contribute content towards the WCD e-portal for remote teaching and learning. I also developed a website for English grade 10 to 12, and I just completed my honors in BEd, Computer Integrated Education, and I'm a mother of two boisterous boys, aged 11 and 6. I'm extremely ambitious. I believe in tackling every task with 100% passion and conviction, and no matter how big or small it is.
Yeah, that is a mouthful, and you quite extraordinary. Gosh, I mean, the IT boffin, mother of two. I mean, being a mother, that will like doen wees. Now, Eugenia, talk to us quickly about your NTA experience in 2019, and very quickly who Eugenia Paulo is.
Wow, Rivka put me on the spot now because what do I say after that intro? Jokes, Rivka. Evening to everybody that is signed in. I'm Eugenia Paulo-Goagoses. As Lee said, I am a primary school teacher in Vredenburg at Masipatisani Primary. I've been there for the 6th year this year, going on 7. Um, I'm also, incidentally, a mother of two very busy boys and a mother to almost a 9-month-old daughter. Actually, last year, this time when I was on the platform, I was still pregnant with her. And what else can I say? I actually also just recently, last year, completed my honors degree in educational leadership and management. I try to keep my head up and hustle and work hard and work actively in the community as well. And that's Eugenia in a nutshell. I think I'm running out of words on what more I can say about myself at this point in time.
Listen, yeah, I'm in the presence of education royalty tonight. I don't even have a CV, a page long, and yeah, you guys are already talking about all your achievements. But well done, ladies, and once again, thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Now, Eugenia, whilst we have you on the floor, when the president announced the early closure of the term 2, what
Mhm.
was the situation like at Masipatisani? Were you guys able to round up the assessments? Were you able to complete reports? Just very briefly, tell us about that.
First and very honestly, it was half a relief that we're gonna have a little bit of an earlier break because I think all of us are just exhausted at this point in time with the term. But sadly, we couldn't even get to the point of finishing our exams. Our children are still left with about 3 subjects in our senior phase and intermediate phase. So, no reports. Our children are still having to write when they return, hopefully by the 19th. And everybody was actually just relieved at first, and then there was a bit of frantic um, conversations and planning on what are we going to do now, and in case there's an extension, what do we do then? And I think by yesterday, everybody was in a calm state of mind again, and just happy that we're going to get to go home a bit earlier, and we'll tackle what we need to tackle once we reopen again.
Fantastic. Riefqah, at the high school, I know on our side as well, we weren't able to complete a lot of the assessments now. Home language in itself, daai wil gedoen wees juffrou. Were you guys able to finish your goodies before the end of term 2?
We actually started our assessment last week. Luckily for me, grade 10 and grade 12 completed the for English for my subject, but the other
Okay.
subjects were not completed. The assessments weren't completed, and like Eugenia said, there was complete relief at the beginning when they heard, because I mean the infections are rising and everybody's sitting with fear. You know, everybody wants to take care of themselves and be able to stay safe. But after the relief was panic, because how are we going to finish all these assessments on time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Although it is now carried over to next term, like Eugenia said, we don't know if we're actually going to open on the 19th. So we needed
Yeah.
to come up with plans to mitigate this, especially when there are some learners that don't have the devices or the Wi-Fi to be able to do the online learning. So yes, teachers are under pressure, and we need to come up with solutions, proactive solutions.
Now, I like what you're saying, coming up with proactive solutions. Now, I want to touch a little later in the show about your website and the content that you've created to assist with the teachers, or at least the learners during lockdown last year. But tonight's conversation is about the vaccinations and your experiences. Now, you've got bragging rights, both of you guys, number one and number two, respectively, although there was a dispute earlier in the week on the page. But nonetheless, listen, I went for my vaccination yesterday. And I compiled a little video clip just to share my experience, and then just stay tuned and have a look at my experience, and then we talk about yours.
I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me. Yeah, wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Fine. Another reason to breathe this air. And now we made for ourselves.
Now, ladies, that was mine in short. Now, I must say that my experience was that it was extremely efficient. I was booked for 10 o'clock. I locked up there at 9 o'clock. I was out by 9:30. It was really the most seamless process. Now, let's start with you, Eugenia. What was your experience like as the number one vaccinee in the province, under the
I
auspices of
was
WCTF?
ridiculously scared going into the situation because I mean, you hear so many stories that people have, and one colleague had said that, oh, you feel it move in your body once it's in, and the other said, oh, the needle, and I have a complete fear of needles. So going into the situation, I was really scared, but at the same time, I had talked myself down because I live by faith, and obviously for me, I feel I cannot live in faith, but then have so much fear about the specific thing in life. And when I went, obviously the reception at the Pineland Center is amazing. Sandra is wonderful as the manager there. And everybody, the cup of coffee that I could enjoy already started easing the nerves. The fact that I saw a lot of people there that I am acquainted with already helped the situation as well. By the time that I had to get my jab, the nerves were rushed because of the
Yeah,
fact that I'm scared of the needle, and the media was there to capture it. And when I heard that I'm going to have to get the jab in front of the media, I was scared of what my facial expressions would be looking like with the fact that I'm so scared. So that was worse for me than the jab itself. But getting the actual jab was not at all what I expected it to be. I had a really good experience. Being someone, as I said, that is so scared of needles, I can honestly say for me, going to Pathcare to get blood drawn is worse than the jab was. And
yeah,
it was a quick process, it was efficient. I didn't have any pain at all. I literally got scolded by the staff there because the media wanted to take pictures as soon as it was done. And we were scolded to say that you need to sit down for the full 15 minutes and don't move around, don't do this, don't do that. So we were schooled on
yeah.
that. But other than that, it was really it was a quick process. I have nothing but
Yeah.
praise for the people at the center as well. Honestly, only afterwards, the day after, I had extremely sore muscles, but other than that, it was nothing but goodness.
Okay. No, 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 fantastic. You know what? The one thing that I hated about the process was that it was very cold. I mean, it was ice cold. So that was the only sort
Yeah,
of bad experience around the whole. But other than that, in terms of the process, the staff, amazing. And that team, what is it? What does she call herself? The manager of the site. She's quite efficient, eh? I mean, she kept that together.
very. And
Yeah.
she
Re-
rallies everybody on, and the way she calls for the next person to come through for their shot, it's
Yeah.
like she eases your nerves on so many levels, and it makes it so much easier. She makes you feel at ease, and she took me by the hand and she's like, don't worry, we'll take care of you, you're not gonna be hurt at all. It's And I thought they're just saying this because obviously they're trying to calm my nerves, but it's a lie, it's gonna be painful. And it obviously was exactly what they said it was gonna be.
No, no, Rivka, let's bring you in here. Talk to us about your experience. Eugenia's talking about side effects. I didn't suffer any. Luckily, in your case, what happened?
I was very similar. My experience was very similar to you, Gina. Somebody said today to me, when they looked at the photo, there's actually a picture of me also getting the jab, and then this person told me that if anxiety was a person, that would be you, because my face, you could see I'm Mrs. Anxiety. So I was completely scared before the jab. Ironically, I was one of the people who said, I'm never going to get this jab. In fact, I was going to wait until the very last when I'm absolutely forced to get it. And I made these plans, and then all of a sudden, the day before the launch, they called me and they invited me to the launch. And I was like, oh, is this some kind of divine intervention? Like God is telling me you're making your plans, but I'm telling you go get your jab. And then I took it like that. I took it like a sign. Maybe I should just go because there's no way I could say no to this.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so on my way, I was very nervous, very very fearful. I'm also very scared of needles, but it was over before I knew it. I was waiting. I turned away and I was waiting for the needle to go in, and it was over in a couple of seconds. It was absolutely painless. So it happened very, very, very quickly. I did have side effects. Well, immediately afterwards, I became extremely drowsy. I remember mentioning that I feel like I'm on drugs, and somebody asked me, how do you know how it feels to be on drugs? I even remember that, Eugenia. And then for 3 days, I was drowsy. I was in a state of lethargic. Just wanted to go
Yeah,
sleep. But I
yeah,
mean, that is a nice side effect to have. I'm
yeah,
not complaining. Although
yeah.
with two boys, you can't really go this.
No,
So,
for sure.
but 4 days after that, it was the Wednesday, then the Sunday, my
Yeah,
arm started paining from the
yeah,
shoulder, like this deep muscle pain. It
yeah.
was it was actually excruciating, but I just
Okay.
took a lot of painkillers, and
All
yeah,
right.
over now.
Yeah.
I
Look, I
I
mean,
think if I can just
yes, yes, Eugenia, go for it.
sorry,
Yes.
Lee. The funny thing is, as Rivka was saying, I was also I wouldn't say that I was against getting the vaccine, but I was gonna first just in Afrikaans they say, "Kyk die kat uit die boom uit." And
Yeah,
I still made jokes with all my colleagues at school. And I was the one saying, guys, you guys are 40 plus. I'm far from 40. So I'm going to be watching what happens with you guys. And based on what happens with you guys, I'll decide if I actually go. And I'd been saying that
yeah.
to my family members. I'd been saying that to my colleagues. And funny enough, just like Rivka says, yeah, the call comes through and
Uh,
I'm the one that goes. Now
Dus jy
everybody's
is sommer
watching
nommer
me.
1.
Dus ek die een wat deur die boom gekyk word vir wat
yeah.
gaan nou gebeur.
Yeah, listen, guys. I mean, somebody said to me yesterday. One of our colleagues said, if you develop side effects, it's a good indication that your immune system is actually top notch because it's
Yeah.
fighting, it's working. So I don't know. I'm not a medical specialist, but I mean, I think it makes all the sense in the world. At this stage, I just want to quickly flag a couple of comments here. Well, good evening to everybody once again, and thank you for joining us. It's appreciated. I'm going to flag a few comments here on our live threads. Mr. Pigeon Pie, I don't know who you are. Maybe you guys know. The best teacher ever. I don't know who that is directed. Um, and then Den is a Denwin Jones up you, Riefqah Sasman. There's Sharon Jacobs from Western High Vredenburg van die Weskus. Dankie Sharon. And I'm assuming you probably know Eugenia. I'm not sure. And there's
Hi,
Fasiha
Sharon.
Solomon, a good friend of the forum. Good evening to everyone. Warm ching from Newfields. Good to see you, Lee. Well, likewise, madam. And we should do that coffee date soon, as we're trying to do for the last I don't know how long. And then there's a couple of us that are saying. Mumfo King says watching from wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in. Um, Let me just see. Claudia Sieverts, a former colleague of mine, the people at the Pinelands EMS site were amazing. The fact that they're also professional put us all at ease. Hats off to them, and I totally agree. And Vuyo Kuselo says, Lungi, yeah, Eugenia, my teammate, Massy girl, yeah, man, doing the things.
Hi, Lungi.
And then there's Diana Fortune or Lorinda. Side effects our staff experience so far are headaches, pain in the arm, nausea, fever, lasting about 3 days. Yeah, that's consistent with what the two of you have experienced in some or other way. And Anthea, hello Anthea, friend of colleague of mine from the PPA, Progressive Principles Association. Good evening, all. Enjoy the relation of the experiences. Waiting to get my jab. Yes, you will get yours soon. Anthea is the principal at the Dana Primary in Lotus River. And Fairuz Kasim, glad to have met you in person. No, niemand is celebrities unique Fairuz, but thank you very much for joining, and I really appreciate the love and the support that you've shown so far to us as a forum. And then Zainab Adam says, Riefqah, I'm watching you, my friend. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Hi, Zola.
There's a number of other people that are also that have commented, but I'm going to try and flag most of them as we go along. But we also press for time because these two celebrity educationists, they've got things to do. Some of them are both of them are mothers, and they are content creators, and so I need to release them very soon. Now, ladies, now I was told, I think yesterday when I posted that video on my page or on my Facebook profile, at least, one person commented by saying, "You are a damn fool." In other words, referring to me as a poople because I've taken the jab. Now, I thought, oh my word, that was quite, and then I think between the two of you, somebody said that there was even a hashtag campaign for rest in peace in advance and praying for Eugenia. Now I know there's a lot of hesitation around the vaccine, and it's a personal thing. And I mean, everybody has divided opinion around it. Now, what are your thoughts on this, Eugenia?
It's like I said earlier on, it was the funniest thing on earth because my husband had actually sent me a screenshot of this person saying, did she take the Johnson and Johnson vaccine? Hashtag pray for Eugenia. And if you pray
Wow.
for me to win the Powerball, then by all means go ahead. But I mean, it's something that is totally up to you as an individual at the end of the day. As we also know, legally, people have been saying that nobody can force you to do it because even at this point in time, there's not even enough for everybody in the country currently. But at the same time, we have been sitting in this situation with COVID 19 for so long now. Our lives have been radically changed. And for me, if there is some form of solution, then by
Yeah.
all means, why would I say no to the solution that could possibly return our lives to a sense of normality? I mean, most of our parents and even some of my colleagues and friends walk around with that chappy on the arm from previous
Yeah.
vaccinations in previous years. And I mean, with every disease that we've come across as a human race, we have seen firsthand the destruction it brings with it. But everything goes by trial and error. And how will you know if it actually works if you're not willing to give it a try? So, for all those that are not willing to give it a try, I mean, we are now going to have to be a living testament of it working, and which is my hope and my prayer. But again, I fully stand by the fact that I love by faith and not by fear. So if I give
Yeah.
the matter to the Almighty, I mean, I can only rest in His message, in His hope, in His dream for my life as well. And I need solutions. We all know what the problem is, but if we don't get to a
Yeah.
solution, then what is the point of all of us just sitting and talking about the problem?
Yeah. Rifka, your views on the hesitation around vaccines. And I mean, obviously, there's a lot of, I mean, I remember right at the beginning, before the vaccines were even released, there was this theory. Now, I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. There was this thing that the billionaire philanthropist, Bill Gates, was, I don't know, he was somehow involved with the development of the vaccine in that they would inject 5G tracing chips into our bodies. Now, I don't
Mm.
again, I want to disclaim I'm not a medical professional and I don't represent the views of any employer organization but my own. But I mean, there's just so much stuff around us, information and things and I mean, it can become confusing. Rivka, your views?
Well, I understand people's fears because if you look at the articles and all these things going around on social media, um, I don't believe that it's going to take over the world, but I do understand people's fears because the vaccine is not around long enough to know the long-term effects. That is a given. We know that, right? So that's why we can understand that people are fearful of this vaccine. However, like Eugenia said, we need to look at solutions and we need to be proactive. Um, if if you have a headache, you're going to take a painkiller, right? There's so many chemicals in that painkillers. We put these things in our bodies anyway. So I looked at it in that way, and the fact that I prayed a lot about it. I was very indecisive, and I prayed, and the phone call to be invited, I saw that as a sign. And that is just how I live my life. I take my cue from the Almighty. If you pray for something, the Almighty is going to guide you in the correct way. That is what I firmly believe. And I felt like this was the way I was guided. So I would recommend, or I would encourage that if you are fearful about anything, pray about it and you will get your answer.
Eugenia, do you believe that as more teachers get vaccinated or the jabs, that our schools will eventually become a safer space?
That for me is still a very tricky question to answer. And it's going to be a tricky situation because even if all our teachers are vaccinated, we still work with children. We still
Yeah.
work with so many children that come from different households that are not vaccinated. Our children are not vaccinated. So having the teachers vaccinated is still just literally like a drop in the bucket. It's not
Mm,
yet fixing or solving the great deal of the problem that we have, but it's at least a step in the right direction. So I can't say from my perspective, and this is my view, that it's going to give us the sense of safety that we do need. But I do believe that it is already a step in the right direction. We can only be hopeful that sooner sooner rather than later it will be able to be rolled out to our children as well, to our families as well at home, because at this point in time, even in my own household, I'm vaccinated, but I still have my husband and three children in the same house
yeah.
as me that are not vaccinated. So until all of us can speak from the same platform and from all of us being vaccinated, then we are not all safe yet. We are moving in the
Yeah.
right direction, but we are not there yet.
Yeah, listen, and for that reason, again, I don't want to express myself too much on the medical aspects of the vaccine and the safety and all of that. Only to say that it's a personal sort of choice. But I've also secured the services of a netcare virologist or infectious disease specialist who's going to chat to us next week sometime on the forum around, all the possible myths that there may be and the fears and the that
Mhm.
people may be experiencing. And I think that will be a nice opportunity for the forum to engage with a healthcare practitioner so that we can ask the questions and get an informed and a professional opinion from somebody who's doing this as a living. Now, we're almost drawing this thing to a close, this conversation. And time flies when you're having fun with such educational royalty. Now, Rivka, during the lockdown, you created a website for learners to access learning materials. And you also assisted, obviously, like I said earlier, the CTLI by presenting and facilitating and developing content. Now, talk to us about that. What prompted you to do that back in 2020, and how accessible is it for our learners?
Okay, I have a passion for technology. I transferred to a learner center pedagogy like 5 years ago because of my passion, and This was ignited by completing various courses offered by WCD and CTLI. Um, I I know that our learners are very familiar with technology because they're Generation Z. So I started this a while ago. When lockdown came, um, I looked at solution. I wanted to be part of a solution. So I thought, how do we do something for our learners? How what can I do with my skills? And then I realized I can create this website and share it amongst everybody and add as much content as I can for my particular subject, and it was shared across the whole South Africa. And teachers then started contacting me to ask if they could also add from their content, and that is how it built and it spread. And people then collaborated, and this is something that I've always wanted, where teachers collaborate with each other. I also I made my YouTube. I always had a YouTube channel, but it used to be unlisted because it was just for my learners. I then made it public so that learners could learn how to use the free digital tools available. So besides just having the subject English, they also knew how to use the digital tools to apply that knowledge that they've learned. Um, Also using WhatsApp Web, and because WhatsApp Web was easier for those who could not, who didn't have a Wi-Fi connection, perhaps, to
Mhm.
have Google Classroom, because I use Google Classroom as well. So it's using a whole lot of platforms to try to get to different types of learners. So with WhatsApp Web, it was very easy because some learners were able to get free WhatsApps depending on the service provider and a particular time at night, and that was a bit easier for them as well.
Yeah.
So it was different things that I used. I love creating websites, so it was very easy for me, and very easy putting that content together and sharing it.
Yeah, just in 20 seconds, Rivka, how accessible is it? If a child says, sir, but I don't have data, how, will that be a challenge for such a child in terms of accessing the material?
If a child is out of data, yes, it would be a problem because even though it is now being optimized onto the Google page, it's still you still need the internet and you still need data, unfortunately. Um, so yes, it is. It's again the digital divide.
Yeah.
Um, but what I have with in my classes, I have my kids who will print out or print out for the learners who do not have data, so they'll
Okay.
print out from my website.
Okay, so there's lots of work to be done, even from the authority side, to make the online learning more accessible. Because when we
Yes.
were plunged into a hard lockdown, a lot of the children are reliant on the school's Wi-Fi, and so when they go back home, there's they cut off from online teaching and learning. Now, Eugenia, I want to play a small clip of a project that you involved with, and then you tell us what this is and how you became part of this. Okay, just stay tuned and have a look.
Hallo kykers en welkom by ons derde episode van Klein Begin. Ek is vandag verskriklik opgewonde want vandag kuier ons hier in Lowville Vredenburg by Virgil's Shoes. Ek het omtrent 'n lekker episode vir julle wat wag. Kom gerus saam met my en kom ons gaan kyk wat alles het Virgil's Shoes vir ons.
Kyk nou net daarso, hè? Op die TV.
Well, what can I say? To be honest, quite honest, I've always been a very dramatic person. I love lights, camera, action. So um, the opportunity came about when a good colleague and friend of mine, Israel Tays, is actually also a teacher at Lowville High here in Friedenberg. He started a platform and goes around the community here in the West Coast and does different programs. And so he came to me and approached me and with a suggestion of a project, and the project is called Klein Begin. So with Klein Begin, we literally go around the West Coast looking at our community and people that started their businesses. And the main goal is to empower and inspire our youth and our community in the West Coast that have a dream, but that just don't know, that are hesitant about actually following the dream or stepping out and taking that risk. And we we filmed our fifth episode episode this week. And it's wonderful to go around and see how people actually tell you about the struggles that they've had to overcome, but also how the seed was planted. And our keywords are droom, doen, in success. So it's
Sure.
just to encourage people that no matter how far fetched your dream may seem, it's never impossible if you put your faith in God and if you just do it, dream it, and you can do it. So it's not always that easy. We always see the successes, but at the same time, hearing from people what it actually took to get to where they are, I think motivates people on a different level. And it's also a great platform for people to get a bit of publicity and yeah, just grow from there.
Mhm.
Ja, en alles begin klein, met 'n klein begin. En
Yes,
en ek dink dit begin met 'n visie, I think before even begin. So you've got a vision and
definitely.
you streef daai doel na. En ek dink dit is 'n ewigheidswerk wat julle doen en dis 'n fantastiese inisiatief. So baie geluk en alle sterkte
Thank you,
met
Baya.
daai projek. Nou voor ons nog baie sê vir almal, wil ons ook vinnig weer eens na ons luisteraars en ons intekenaars op ons nou wat is livestream op op die livestreams gaan. En kom ons kyk gou Antoinette, Simon Beck, Carlton Raider. Oh, people my age have the marks on our arms to prove we stepped forward to stop smallpox. Go for it. Thank you very much for that. Took
Mhm.
some courage back then, and it certainly
Yes.
requires the same amount of courage now. Anthea, once again, my perspective as well, Eugenia, God is in control. Yes, thank you, Anthea. And then Faith, he's saying, Faith and Lela, so great to hear your experiences. Looking forward to the day when all teachers will get their vaccines. Teachers play such an impactful and important role, and they should be prioritized. Wow, well done. And Anthea, once again, Anthea, you're hogging the stream. You're saying wise words, Riefqah. And then Tammy says, is it Evie or Evie? Now watch this. Okay. Then Des Franke says, can't wait for my jab tomorrow. All the best, Des.
Good
It's gonna
luck.
be fun. It's
Yes.
gonna be awesome. Yeah, and Mr. Gavin De Bruin, Deputy Director at the CTLI. Well done to Eugene and Riefqah.
Hi,
Thank you for
Mr.
joining and
Gavin De
tuning in.
Bruin.
Yeah, like Gavin is a fantastic. Thank you for joining, Gavin. And then Karima Ahmad Hendrik, so proud of my friend Riefqah. And
Hi, Karima.
and then Gavin is back up. Gavin is saying, Lee, I hope our teachers will share the great work they're doing in our schools with the public by entering the NTA. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's an open invitation from the is he the acting director now of the
Yes.
Cape Teaching and
Yes.
Learning Institute? So he's a director. So that's from the man himself. He's opening the invite. He's inviting all teachers to participate in the NTA. Perhaps we must get Gavin onto the show at some stage to talk to us
Yes.
about what it's about and why is it beneficial for us to celebrate our own and to celebrate the excellence that we create in our
And the
context. So
amazing
Gavin,
experience it brings.
absolutely. So Gavin, there's an
Yes.
open invitation from my side. Please come in and talk to us and let us advocate the program. Ian LaRue, leading by example, NTA class of 2019.
Hi,
Thank you very much.
Ian.
Hi, Ian.
Just for my edification, Ian, who's Ian?
Ian was
He's
also a winner with us. He was the secondary school winner. Excellence in
yes.
secondary school teaching.
Oh, fantastic. Great stuff. Well, congratulations. But listen, guys, you guys have the bragging rights. You are still, so in other words, you guys are the 2019 and the 2020, title holders still.
We reign by default. We reign by
Yes,
default.
yes. And then very lastly, I'm going to flag Marvin says when healthcare workers are vaccinated, the private and public sectors were done together. Oh, okay. Thank you, Marvin, for that. And then Gavin says, absolutely, he's accepted the invitation. Okay, so we'll make it happen and we'll reach out to you and we will make it happen and continue to create excellence and make magic as we educate, empower, and excel. Now, ladies, each one of you have got 60 seconds to give us a message of hope or a message of encouragement maybe for our teachers who are maybe sitting and are still anxious about everything, not just the vaccinations and COVID, but just we find ourselves in a very challenged space. And so we as the teacher leaders, we need to be on our A game when our learners step into the classroom. So how do we, what word of encouragement would you share with us as we close this show almost? Riefqah, you go first.
Okay, do you want words of encouragement for vaccinations or as an educator generally?
Well, as you wish, ma'am. Vaccinations go.
Okay, for vaccinations, like I said earlier, I do understand your fears. I was there as well. Um, I would just say pray on it, weigh the pros and the cons, and try to get as much authentic information as possible because you must make an informed decision. Right after lots of reading material. As an educator, also, I always recommend that you try to be the best that you can be because whatever you foster in the classroom, you are now creating the best learner. And always think that the next generation is counting on you. So give 100%, be passionate, have the best conviction when you do whatever you want to do, and shine and push your learners and so that they can pursue to the best of their ability.
Fantastic, beautiful. Eugenia, your last thoughts.
Well, I think in addition to what Rivka just said, we have all been in such a trying time as educators for the past year, and even beyond this past year, our profession has always been one that takes a lot from you personally. So my message today is also stay in faith, stay humble, stay on your knees, because on your knees is where you get the most done. Give all your requests to the Almighty, and He will certainly provide for you. And the most important thing I believe is to look after yourself first. Make sure that your emotional health and your social well-being is looked after, because only when you are 100% you can give 100% to the learners in front of you. We have so many challenges and so many things that are happening around us each and every day, and so many stresses. Take COVID out, but just in our profession itself, it's already so demanding. So look after yourself, look after your heart, treasure those times that you have with your people that are close to you. And at the end of the day, as I said, stay on your knees and stay safe at all times. Your life matters. And as teachers, you guys are amazing. You do great and wonderful things. What would society be without us? Come on now. So that's my
Hey,
message to everybody. Keep well and good luck with the jabs.
well, you could not have said it any better. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, both of you, once again for availing your time. We absolutely appreciate your time here tonight, and I think you've left a lot of people on our platforms inspired, to say the least. So, thank you very much, and continue to do the work that you do. I think our learners are in for an
Thank
exciting
you for
time
having
under
us.
your care. Now, only a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have time for tonight. And watch out for our conversation next week with a Netcare doctor. I don't want to mention the name yet. I'm just waiting for his confirmation. But yes, we're going to talk about the safety aspects on the vaccine and the myths around the possible myths around why people may be hesitant to have it administered. Now, and to next week sometime we'll also be chatting to Kurt Minnar. Kurt is also Kurt. I don't know if you guys remember Kurt Minnar was
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Kurt is doing absolutely amazing stuff in education. He's recently been appointed in the Cape Winelands Education District as a subject advisor, mathematics. He's doing fantastic work. He's developed an app called, is it Mathigon? And it's a virtual math manipulatives app. So it's especially useful for teachers during this time to maintain COVID protocol. So watch out for that conversation next week sometime. We're going to chat to Kurt about that, and he's going to show us exactly how this works and how our learners can benefit from the excellence that we continue to create. I want to play us out with a BG Staying Alive vaccine parody. I've not seen it myself, but I'm hoping that it's going to be great. So, ladies, once again, thank you very much for your time. Stay safe, God bless, and continue just to be awesome.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
Keep
very
well,
much.
everybody.
Keep well. Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I can tell by the way you cough. It's that COVID, man, no time to talk. Vaccines out whenever you want. Come see us and reserve you one. Not wear the mask, not okay. I'm gonna go the other way. Gotta do more this season than wear your mask. self-care.